Yesterday we played the Dilbert comic strip creator Scott Adams reacting to a poll by Rasmussen, saying at this point, because blacks have become so anti-white, he wants nothing to do with black people who think that way. Now, he mischaracterized the poll. Most blacks, in fact, 53%, say it's okay to be white. 26% said it's not. 21% said they don't know. So in fact, a quarter of black people disagreed that it is okay to be white, not a majority of blacks, as Adam said. But still, Adam makes a valid point.
As of today, I'm going to re-identify as white because I don't want to be a member of a hate group. I'd accidentally joined a hate group. So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the away. Wherever you have to go, just get away. Because there's no fixing this. This can't be fixed.
And not too surprisingly, the fit hit the shan. Hundreds of newspapers have now canceled his strip. Do you really think Adams is the only one who feels this way? After all, we've had affirmative action or race-based preferences now for over 50 years, so that in fact a black kid has an easier chance of getting into a college or university of his or her choice than a white kid. We've had set-asides at least that long, so now a black contractor has an easier time getting a government contract than a white contractor with the same resources. Virtually every major city from New York to Chicago to LA has or has had a black mayor, with many of these cities having had or currently having black police chiefs. And still, when a black suspect is allegedly mistreated by the cops, no matter the race of the cops or whether the city has a black police chief, activists with the support of political leaders like, Barack Obama, yell systemic racism. Take a city like Baltimore, where the per capita homicide rate is 3 times higher than that of Chicago, by the way, where Freddie Gray died in police custody. At the time of Freddie Gray's death, the mayor was black. The number 1 and number 2 people running the police department, black. 3 of the 6 officers charged, black. The state attorney who brought the charges, black. The judge before whom 2 of the officers tried their case, black, and who, by the way, found them not guilty. The city superintendent of schools, black. The county superintendent of schools, black. City council, all Democrats, majority black. The U.S. attorney at the time, Loretta Lynch, black, as was the president of the United States, Barack Obama, black. Still, many protesters, those in the media, and politicians characterize the death of Freddie Gray as due to systemic racism. Now, in the case of Adams, he said he was pro-black, that he supported blacks. But now, at a time where blacks are demanding reparations, that is, payments from white people who were never slave owners to be given to black people who were never slaves, where schools are cramming things like critical race theory down the throats of kids and their families, where if you say all lives matter rather than black lives matter, you're considered to be a racist, where if you sneeze the wrong way, you're accused of committing a, wait for it, microaggression. At some point, a lot of people like Adams are saying, I've had enough. This was Don Lemon, not Donald Trump.
Because black people, if you really want to fix the problem, here's just 5 things that you should think about doing. Here's number 5. And if this doesn't apply to you, if you're not doing this, then it doesn't apply to you. I'm not talking about you. Here's number 5. Pull up your pants. Walking around with your ass and your underwear showing is not okay. In fact, it comes from prison when they take away belts from the prisoner so that they can't make a weapon. And then it evolved into which role a prisoner would have during male-on-male prison sex. The one with the really low pants is a submissive one. You get my point? Number 4 now is the N-word. By promoting the use of that word when it's not germane to the conversation, have you ever considered that you may just be perpetuating the stereotype the massa intended, acting like a nigger? Now, number 3, respect where you live. Start small by not dropping trash, littering in your own communities. I've lived in several predominantly white neighborhoods in my life. I rarely, if ever, witness people littering. I live in Harlem now. It's an historically black neighborhood. Every single day I see adults and children dropping their trash on the ground when a garbage can is just feet away. Just being honest here. Number 2, finish school. You want to break the cycle of poverty? Stop telling kids are acting white because they go to school or they speak proper English. A high school dropout makes on average $19,000 a year. A high school graduate makes $28,000 a year. A college graduate makes $51,000 a year. Over the course of a career, a college grad will make nearly $1 million more than a high school graduate. That's a lot of money. And number 1, and probably the most important, just because you can have a baby, it doesn't mean you should, especially without planning for one or getting married first. More than 72% of children in the African American community are born out of wedlock. That means absent fathers. And the studies show that lack of a male role model is an express train right to prison. And the cycle continues.
Rather than thank Adams for saying out loud what clearly a lot of people feel, including a lot of black people are saying and feeling, so we could have, a healthy discussion about this growing black anti-white racism, if not hatred, Adam is being hounded, shut down, canceled. And notice the most respected black leader in America says absolutely nothing. I speak, of course, about one Barack Obama. Here's a man who got elected with a higher percentage of the white vote than John Kerry did 4 years earlier, who walked into the Oval Office the third week of January 2009 with a 70% approval rating, even though he got elected with only slightly more than 52% of the vote. Why? Because even people who didn't vote for Obama felt that at the very least, at the minimum, he could bring us together racially, but he did the opposite. He said, among other things, the Cambridge police acted stupidly. No, they did not. He said racism is in America's DNA. That's a lie. The first time Gallup in the 1950s asked Americans if they would vote for a black president, that number was in the 30s. Now only a tiny percentage of whites say they would not vote for a black person if they thought he or she was qualified. Obama embraced Black Lives Matter, a movement that is Marxist, anti-nuclear family, anti-capitalist, anti-God, and anti-American values. He invoked the hands up, don't shoot lie of Ferguson. His Attorney General, Eric Holder, even said voter ID was an example of pernicious racism. His term, not mine. Obama had America's preeminent race hustler, Al Sharpton, over to the White House some 80 times. When Obama entered the Oval Office, 2009, both blacks and whites thought race relations would improve. When he left the Oval Office after his 2 terms, both blacks and whites thought race relations got worse. And we're talking about a man like Obama, so privileged. He went to Harvard Law, became president of the Harvard Law Review, went to Columbia for undergraduate, went to the finest prep school in Hawaii, Punahou, had a white girlfriend from a prominent family, according to his first book. Yet Obama routinely picks up the race card and accuses America of having racism in its DNA. Larry Elder here. Buy gold and get a free safe to store it in. That's right. On qualifying purchases from Birch Gold Group now through March 31st, they will ship a free safe directly to your door. All you have to do is visit LarryForGold.com to get your free info kit on gold and to claim eligibility for your free safe. Here's the deal. The Fed keeps raising rates because, frankly, it's the only tool they have to keep inflation under control. And it's not working. You cannot spend your way out of inflation. You've seen the impact on the stock market. You've seen the impact on your savings. Hedge inflation by owning gold, whether physical gold and silver in your safe or through an IRA in precious metals, where you can hold real gold and silver in a tax-sheltered retirement account. Birch Gold has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and thousands of satisfied customers. Visit LarryForGold.com for your free info kit on gold and to claim your eligibility for your free home safe by March 31st on qualifying purchases. Again, visit LarryForGold.com. That's LarryForGold.com. Now the Energy Department is agreeing that the coronavirus may very well have come from a lab in Wuhan, China.
Tonight, NBC News learning the Department of Energy has concluded COVID-19 likely came from a lab leak in China. According to two sources with direct knowledge, key lawmakers on the House and Senate Intelligence Committees were recently briefed by top intelligence officials on a classified report, which cited new information leading the Energy Department to back the theory with low confidence, symbolic of a larger divide within the intelligence community on how the virus started, with agencies differing on whether the novel coronavirus may have leaked from a laboratory or through natural transmission. The Wall Street Journal reporting Sunday it was unintentional and a lab mishap. A U.S. official confirming that assessment from the report and stressing there's still consensus this was not a Chinese bioweapon.
Let's take a little stroll down memory lane, shall we?
The best evidence suggests that the kind of bat from which this virus jumped to humans wasn't even present there.
But you know the worst of all, whether it came from the lab or came from the bats it all came from China.
Because we don't know where the novel coronavirus came from yet, the conspiracy theories fill the void.
I'm telling you, the Chi-Coms are trying to weaponize this thing.
Conservative talk show host Rush Limbaugh with zero proof, suggesting a Chinese bioweapon lab is to blame.
It's this question about the Wuhan lab. We know that it's been debunked.
Those same agencies now have been tapped with investigating one of Trump world's most favorite conspiracy theories.
This week, Donald Trump is still pushing the debunked bunkum, despite his own intelligence community's findings that is simply not true.
And there is simply no reason to believe that is the case. There is no empirical evidence to verify that.
Coming up with a conspiracy theory to try and foment xenophobia with respect to the Chinese has just as much factual support as taking Clorox.
He can't just sit back and let the doctors and the scientists do their jobs. He's got to chime in.
He may pick up the conspiracy theory that this was some weapon.
People don't keep bats in captivity. Complete baloney.
We don't need to invoke conspiracy theories.
This is just another example of the president trying to change the narrative from his own failings.
The problem for President Trump is that he's running for re-election, is looking for ways to deflect blame for the performance of the administration.
If you look at the evolution of the virus in bats and what's out there now, it's very, very strongly leaning towards this could not have been artificially or deliberately manipulated.
So I wanted to ask, are you still confident that it developed naturally?
No, actually, that's the point that I said. No, I'm not convinced about that. I think that we should continue to investigate what went on in China.
Now, you know you love the show, so please hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button. We want to get our subscriptions up. And if you love our videos, that means you don't want to miss any. So scroll down, get on our mailing list. That way you'll be sure to get all of our videos, because believe it or not, from time to time, YouTube has an issue and you may not have the same kind of access that you otherwise would if you're on the mailing list. Also, see that donate button? Hit that, throw a little something in the tip jar. Make sure we can continue to give you hard-hitting programming. Larry with epoch.com, Larry with epoch.com. Now, again, you can always leave a message, 888-971-7243, 888-971-SAGE. Make sure your message is under 59 seconds. And por favor, no profanity. I'm Larry Elder. This has been the Larry Elder Show for Epoch Times. We've got a country to save. I'll see you next time.